It's what we've been waiting all year for. It is our Super Bowl. It is WrestleMania 41. We got so much to talk about. 13 matches, probably headed towards the 14th. Do I hear 15th? I don't know. Who knows? We got 2 nights, 4 hours each night. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? I am half of your tag team, commentating partner, doership. I don't know what the words are here on Spandex StandUps. Drew Harrison, joined by my lovely co-host, as always, Evan Berke. And we have a guest special star with us because it's WrestleMania. We had to pull out all the stops. So Miss Tara Brown is here to give us all of her insight at this time of the year.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you get to see. You hadn't seen the new studio.
I haven't seen the new studio. This is so awesome.
I'm so happy you're here. You're my favorite person to talk wrestling with, and it's the best pay-per-view of the year. So good. Here we go.
Let's go. Happy home. WrestleMania week.
Happy WrestleMania week. Before we get into it, happy WrestleMania.
Somebody posted something about how much wrestling there is to watch this week. I don't know if you guys know who Jack Hunter is, but he's a big wrestling fan. He's also a political commentator. He worked for Ron and Rand Paul for a while, but he says that we have 26 hours of wrestling to watch this week between Raw, NXT, Dynamite, Collision, TNA, Bloodsport, SmackDown, afternoon NXT, PLE, both nights of WrestleMania, and that does not count the WWE Hall of Fame, Dark Side of the Ring, the WrestleMania kickoff shows, or any of the other content.
Have y'all ever watched the Hall of Fame?
I did. I watched when Paul Heyman got.
I watched Paul Heyman,
awesome.
And I was there live last year.
Oh yeah,
because I went to WrestleMania week.
How was it live?
It was good. So they did it after SmackDown.
Yeah,
they just take the ropes down, right?
They take the ropes down. It ended up being a very late night. I will say, I'm glad that they are doing it in a separate venue. I think that's what the event needs.
Did they say a 1 a.m. start time, though?
It is a 1 a.m. start
I saw
time.
somewhere where it was a 1 a.m. start time.
Is that right?
It might be. I mean, they do a little bit too much during this week.
Yeah. It was a lot. I remember Heyman's speech being really long.
So long.
Yeah.
And I was like, I get it, but I was like, this is long. So
that's why I love watching the clips.
And then Undertaker's speech, I think the year before or something, was also like super long.
Well, the headliner's got to take forever.
Yeah.
You got to give them what? Like a headliner, like 45 minutes?
Yeah.
How long is a headliner speech? Like you're also a public speaker.
It's either 45 minutes or 60. It's on the low end 45. If you're thinking keynote speech, hour and a half could be. So yeah, it's a lot of talking.
I do think the Hall of Fame ceremony is important for the speeches and for just the moment. How to execute on it, though, is a little weird, right? Because making it its own event in the realm of WrestleMania week, it's probably... I mean, who's going to that? And then you're already, asking so much of your talent during the week. So then to ask them to sit through 3 hours of something when
after
they really
got glammed up.
You know what I mean? And they're like smiling and they're happy.
When they could be resting, maybe taking a nap, getting ready for the big weekend. So big fan of it, but also, we'll see how they execute.
If there was like a comedy mania every year, where we all went and we all had our match, or we all had our order in the showcase, and we all got glitzied up for the Hall of Fame, we'd eat up every second of it. You know what I mean?
Especially since it's once a year. Like I totally agree, it's a lot, but this is their Super Bowl, right?
Right.
So, but I do think what all they have to do with the appearances and not to mention leading up to it, how they have to get their body right and eating right and exercise. Yeah. So I'm sure mentally this is so draining and taxing on them.
That's the crazy thing is like not only their insane travel schedule.
Yeah.
But we can just go to McDonald's and grab a McMuffin. You know what I mean? Like they gotta weigh out their food. Like if they're like I was watching Jordan Grace and travel messes her up.
Mm-hmm. You know who I've been watching his videos every day is Tommaso Ciampa.
I love
He
Tommaso.
has some videos up where he's talking about his workout and his eating routine, and he especially did it when they were on the European tour, because he was saying exactly to your point how hard it is, and I was so impressed. And it's funny because his daughter is in the video, and I commented, I love these videos, and I love how you love your daughter, and he liked my comment. Tommaso Ciampa knows me.
Well, he knows you're part of the Spandex StandUps
exactly.
universe, so he knows we're well respected.
Tommaso, come on this podcast.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, let's get into some news up top so we can get into the card real quick. Honky Tonk Man signs a new Legends deal. Latest old guy to come back to the fold. I like Honky Tonk Man.
Too.
Like, one of my first moments as a kid was renting that VHS tape that Ultimate Warrior debuted and beat Honky Tonk Man, and like it was the record then. It was like they tried to say it was like 5 seconds. He just beat him, because all he did was clothesline him and pin him. You know, like I think he pressed him. I don't even know, but Honky Tonk Man, I'm happy to the Elvis impersonator. He made a great career off being an Elvis impersonator.
Before that was even cool.
I just loved him smashing guitars on people's heads.
I'm just saying, Elvis was always synonymous with Vegas. WrestleMania's in Vegas. We might see a Honky Tonk Man appearance,
And I do think we need a, for all the themed bars we have here in Nashville, it blows my mind we don't have a wrestling themed bar. And who better to maybe be the face of that than Honky Tonk Man?
I do like to see wrestling pop up in other places you don't expect it. Like Danny McBride's new tequila company has a wrestling theme about it.
Is that right?
It's like the luchador math. Like I just like seeing it, like seeing our culture in other places.
Well, Nashville's a place to put a shrine to a whole thing. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg are about to build a bar here. It's like let's get WWE.
I'm surprised Ric Flair hadn't tried to open a bar.
That's
here
what
in
I'm
Nashville.
talking about.
I read that Drew McIntyre lives in Nashville.
Sheamus does too.
Does he really?
And Miro does.
Oh, really?
Drew
So I'm like,
McIntyre?
yeah.
They all live in
Sky-
Nashville.
He lives in Nashville.
Because the airport's so easy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine running into him at
That
the
would
airport?
be the coolest.
That
would
would
so
be
cool. I never talk to celebrities out in the wild.
I
would talk to
I would
everybody.
fangirl out over
I
him, for
talk to
sure.
everybody. My TMZ days has taught me I have a license to talk to anybody
Yeah.
if you do it the right way. Yeah,
I would totally.
I
Yeah,
talk
but
to
they're
everybody.
here.
Yeah.
So, but remember when they had the WWE themed restaurant back in?
loved that.
Times
That was
Square.
awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Because I never got to go, but them kicking
went.
it to him,
Yeah.
like doing commentary, like Sunday Night Heat. We talked about we missed Sunday Night Heat so much.
Yeah.
I loved Sunday Heat.
Back in the day when I was doing book publicity for publishing, we would publish all the WWE's books. And so we would have the book signings at the
There
WWE
you
restaurant.
go.
And it was just so cool. And I got to spend really fun time with The Rock. And it was, so I was surprised it didn't make it because I thought it was really
It
fun.
always seemed packed out. To me, it always seemed like, I don't know if they were just
Yeah.
piping those people in to be on TV, but it always seemed like it was pumping.
But it was in Times Square. And Times Square is a rough place to have a restaurant.
What's held up there over 5 years?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Jeff Cobb might be headed to WWE. They said rumor is he's leaving New Japan. Might be headed to WWE. I loved his Monster Matanza days in Lucha Underground.
See, I don't know.
I don't know him either.
Jeff,
I'm so
check
glad
out.
Evan said that
I'm
because
like,
I didn't
I
want to
don't
be the
know.
person
Yeah,
like,
check
I don't
out
know
some
what
Jeff.
it is.
I'm glad I got to put you guys on. He's I don't want to throw this around, but I respect both. He's a modern day Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh,
he's a
really?
big dude
He's
that
a
can
big
move.
luchador?
He's a big dude that can cut the cartwheel and
Oh, I have to
love
do
that.
he's a
What's his
big
name
guy.
again?
Jeff Cobb.
Jeff Cobb.
He's a Hawaiian.
Oh,
He's from
okay.
Hawaii.
Okay.
So I mean, he could fit right in with the Samoan family. You know?
Speaking of that, I was like a few days ago old when I found out that like Yokozuna wasn't Japanese.
that
that
got
was
me.
Samoan.
He's
That
part of
got
the-
me as a
I
kid.
was like,
That got me as a
what?
kid.
He's part of the
Yeah.
bloodline.
Right. I didn't realize. I think
That's
I found
all-
that out
you
like
know?
a few months ago.
That's Samoan. You know?
I was like, they did that well.
I love anything about coming up about Yokozuna because there's no bad stories out about him.
No.
Everything is he was just the best.
Yeah.
And like he would put his checks on the line if someone was about to
generous.
lose their house. You know, like my man just really stepped up for any downtrodden wrestler. And I was just showing Evan a story about Harvey Wimpleman helping out Giant Gonzalez when he blew through his money. You know,
Oh,
so
wow.
I just love feel good story.
Yeah.
From being a wrestling fan and having to kind of mute a bunch of terrible stories, it's
Yeah.
nice to hear the good
Yeah.
stories. You know, so I love that. So
It's a
check
hard,
out Jeff Cobb. Great,
a hard
great wrestler.
business, and the fact that these folks, I mean, like they're such superior athletes. They put their bodies on the line
They're
all
done
year
by
long.
40.
Huh?
They're done by 40.
Exactly. There's no off season, the travel schedule. So I have such a tremendous amount of respect. So I'm sure that, their peers know how hard it is. So it's just like,
It's like the comedy community, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we bicker and we fight and we argue, but when one of us needs something, we come together.
Or like even if someone outside of comedy comes for a comedian, you're like, no.
Nah.
Not today.
It's kind of like your family member, like, I can talk about that.
Right.
You don't get to talk.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Do y'all think it's smoke and mirrors? Becky Lynch.
She's
was
coming
asked-
back. I feel it.
She said maybe one day, but I'm not doing it right now. You think that was smoke and mirrors?
I think it's smoke and
I think
mirrors.
it's smoke and mirrors. I think she's coming back.
Which
I think-
match do you? Well,
I hope she goes after Charlotte.
I have a theory. I thought at one point she comes back during the women's triple threat, right?
Okay.
But I think maybe that's been done. But I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think somehow or another she inserts herself in this Charlotte Tiffany thing. And okay, wait for it. Maybe she makes Tiffany think, yeah, I hate her too. And then the two of them, Charlotte and Becky, kind of turn on Tiffany.
And that's
would
exactly
love-
what Charlotte Flair needs because she is
Exactly.
struggling
Lean
right
into
now.
that mean girl. You know what
Yeah.
they need to do? They need to be Lay Cool. They need to be the mean girls
I
backstage
think
like
that would be
Layla
great.
and Michelle McCool did for a little bit when they. I mean, don't pick on Mickey James like that. That was brutal. Yeah, that was mean.
Yeah.
But the 2-girl power trip.
you imagine
kidding me?
that?
Two of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time joining forces to take down. Put them
would
on
love that.
SmackDown. Let them run through SmackDown.
Yeah,
that is
The
a
only
great
thing-
idea.
I think that would be great. The only thing I don't, because I know that WWE doesn't usually separate families, so Seth is on
yeah.
a Raw unless they move Seth.
Remember
to
they
Raw.
got the draft.
That's what I'm saying.
They got
So
the draft.
So I thought to myself, how cool would that be if it looks like she's coming out to help Tiffany, and then Tiffany and Charlotte turn on. Charlotte and Becky turn
then
on.
Paul Heyman's in their corner because Seth is a Paul Heyman guy. It all just makes sense.
That is so funny, that storyline.
I just want to say I said it here first on Spandex
Did you?
StandUps before the internet took it and ran with it. I'm not saying they stole my idea. I'm just saying I thought of it first.
Somebody was listening.
All right, night one. No particular order. We just know who's main eventing. We don't know who's opening up.
Jey
I
Uso.
truly hope Jey Uso. We talked about it. Jey Uso winning the title right from the get go. That'd be a feel good story.
And I think that's the
First
only way
match
to-
of the night.
And I think that's the only way you really leave people feeling good about that match is if it happens first, he wins. Almost the way it was WrestleMania New York 2019. Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar at the start of the show.
Yeah.
People were kind of like whatever about it, but the way that they salvaged it was have it kick off the show, kind of feel good moment. We're not gonna end the show on this thing.
Because
Yeah.
you think about all the you end up talking about the matches that start the pay per view most of the times anyway. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
because
I
when
know.
Seth won his match, when he cashed in his briefcase in the main event, all they talked about was him losing to Orton in the first match. So I truly think they can come out Jey Uso with these fire promos he's been putting out.
And start it with
didn't even
start it with the
mind.
yeet. Start WrestleMania with the yeet. That's the best way to start it.
I didn't even mind because those boos when the yeet stops and Gunther's music hits, those boos are going to be so loud.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best way to start the pay per view.
Is this
Jay's-
the time to say how much I love Gunther?
I love Gunther.
Yes. No, I'm a big fan of Gunther. If
He
without Gunther
reminds me
being
of,
the
like,
monster
my
heel,
ancestral oppressor, and for some reason, I need that in wrestling for
I
me to
like
get off.
him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, please.
without Gunther, this feud doesn't mean anything. But Jey Uso with that promo 2 weeks ago was like, Gunther, you got a bomb?
Oh, that was good.
So I didn't even mind that he literally came out yeeting last night, said 5 words, and then yeeted again. Didn't even mind that because that promo 2 weeks ago has me on board no matter what.
It was so funny to not see him yeet because he looked like I really want to do it. I really want to do it. But I agree, it was a great promo. I don't know.
You want Gunther to walk out?
I do. I know he's not,
Right.
but it's just like, do I believe that Jey Uso can beat Gunther? I don't. But I just think the other thing too, the whole story about like, I didn't believe I can do it, but now I can't. Have we not done that?
Yeah, I know.
Wasn't that the
No, you're
Sami
right.
Zayn Gunther thing? Was that just
Was that
last
not
year?
Daniel Bryan?
Yeah, like is that
Was
not
that
done?
not? Yeah.
You know
was
what
that
I
not
mean?
CM Punk?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, listen, I'm happy for him. He's worked hard for the opportunity, but I mean,
The thing that's missing is the Roman Reigns being a part of it. Like
You said the magic words to get her back on board.
Yeah, that's my guy. I couldn't find my Roman Reigns shirt to come to that. I was like, where's my Roman shirt?
That's what's missing. Is like, again, they reunited.
Yeah.
Jay is about to have the biggest moment of his life. The family's getting their ass kicked by Gunther. Where's Roman? I know
he's in his feelings about Paul Heyman, bro.
Preoccupied, but that would make the story so much more interesting if we are watching Roman be jealous of Jay, that Jay has a match for the world title at Mania, and he doesn't. You could be telling that story alongside the other story that they're telling, and then when Jay wins, now we're looking at Roman, and that's what people are like. But I think that's why we're not totally on board, is because they're not telling the Roman of it all with it. And like, if Jay wins, who's the tribal chief?
Is that the story they tell?
That was the story they've been telling, but for some reason now we're like not telling that story.
I completely agree with you.
Because what was it?
It was SummerSlam when it was Roman versus Jay, tribal combat
they started
for
this
the
whole
title,
thing.
right?
And almost Roman pulled Jay into the main event scene he wanted nothing to be a part of in the first place. He wanted to be a tag wrestler with his brother.
That's what's missing in this, and I'm hoping that that's what story kind of gets told beyond that, but it doesn't feel like it will, and I think that's the only Jey Uso title reign we want, is the conflict that it adds to his family. Who is the tribal chief? How does Roman Reigns feel about all of it? And they're not telling that.
What will you get? Will you be happy if Jay wins and Roman crowns him, like comes and congratulates him, and they have a weird, awkward moment? Will you be good with that?
I mean, yeah, but I don't think. Again, I think they're going to hold out on Roman until the end. I don't think we're going to see Roman at all until it's his match.
Well, let me ask you this though: does it feel unspoken that Cody's title is higher than Gunther's title? So would that be lessening Roman a bit to have him go after that particular title? Because it just always feels like that Universal title is the creme de la creme. So that's the one he wants.
That is a good point.
And I feel like anything other than that just feels like a consolation prize. And then also what I thought was it War Games when they had Roman come out after Jay? Do we remember that?
Yeah.
Because I was hot. I was home like, oh no, Roman does not come out after Jay. So to your point, they were like I feel like they were putting these seeds out.
I think they're going to tell the story after the fact.
You're onto something.
I'm hoping, and that's why I'm excited, because again, I think that's the story that kind of needs to be told.
Because if Jay wins and any other competitor, this whole time we're going to be thinking like, and win Roman.
Yeah.
And wins Roman.
Yeah.
And wins Roman. Like, he can have a match with Sammy. He can have his match with Drew. When's he get that match? When's that world title feud with his cousin?
Right.
And then I was mentioning that I was watching Who Killed WCW on Vice, and Kevin Nash said something that I thought was really interesting. He said there's more money in chasing the title than getting the title.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, that is so true.
Well, that's why they messed up Lex. Lex Luger, the Lex Express. They should have had him have that payoff at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And Vince wanted to wait till WrestleMania, and by then it was killed. Because the pursuit was more fun and more entertaining and more cash grabbing. Because once the whole thing when Daniel Bryan, when he finally won the title, people were like, it's kind of been the lackluster Cody title.
This is why we've been I wanted Cody to drop the title to Kevin Owens and then chase Kevin Owens for a couple of months. Yeah. Give KO a title run. It doesn't make Cody look like any less than if he wins it back.
Right.
And I agree. Like, as long as your main event star is chasing the title, we saw it with Cody for 2 years where he was the star of the company chasing the title. That is almost the better ploy, to kind of
that was awesome.
Do with your audience.
How we feel about Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano?
Take the mask off already. Can Rey just do it within 5 minutes and we can be finished with this? I don't feel like this is a WrestleMania match.
It's
and
not.
I'm just like,
It was a way to get Ray on the card.
Yeah,
I would much rather have Gable not do this gimmick and him just be in the Intercontinental title match.
Although Chad Gable is ridiculously funny.
I love
he
Chad
is so
Gable.
entertaining.
I love Chad Gable.
I really like
I kind of
him.
want to see him be a face though. Like the
Do
heel.
you really? I
the
love
heel
him
love
like
him as a
this.
heel.
Well, the heel cuts off his comedic stuff. Like he
You
can
think
only be
so?
so funny. Like yeah, we're laughing at him. I want to be laughing with him.
I laugh with him.
I
think
like
he's
him being
hilarious.
like a Michael Scott character. on
Yeah,
here,
that's
kinda
fair.
just like
That's fair.
I don't know. Yeah.
I have trouble with my heels being comedic. I
Really?
like my faces being the comedy.
I think he's hilarious. I think to watch him was a sporty G.
I mean,
To
yeah,
see him come from that to this,
I mean, he
I'm happy
deserves. Don't
for
get me
him.
wrong, he deserves
Yeah,
it.
I'm happy for him, but this is
yeah.
not a WrestleMania match.
It's not, and it'll be a throwaway when they're like figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
We got Tiffy, Charlotte. We talked about Bex might be. That would be a good way to interject her in
I
there.
think
And
that'd be
are
good.
we excited about this match? I don't know that. I mean, I used to love and get really hyped for a Charlotte match, but this one, I'm kind of like,
I'm happy for it to be over, so they both can go their separate ways.
it just
they
I
just don't work together.
I mean, but have we even seen Charlotte really wrestle other than the Rumble? And it's like, and even that felt weird and
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and like she maybe wasn't. So I don't know. I'm excited. I can't say I'm actually excited for this match.
You were talking about it's more money in the chase.
More money in the chase?
To me, it's more money when Charlotte is on the way back. The vignettes and she's making her return. I don't really care about
Yeah.
her being on the roster.
It's been underwhelming. Her return has been underwhelming.
Yeah.
I feel like they were probably going to give her the title, but I think after all of this stuff that happened, I don't think they take it off of Tiffany.
I think
And-
they're she's too close to being around that 16
Yeah.
that I don't want them to. I think they don't want Cena and her to be at the same like number wise. You know what I
Good
mean?
point.
Like, so I don't think they. I think they're going to refocus on Charlotte beating the record at some point.
Yeah.
But after they deal with Cena, I think.
Maybe SummerSlam, maybe?
Maybe,
I don't know.
yeah.
You know,
What number is she at?
I think she's at 14.
Okay.
I always root for Charlotte. I like her a lot, but and you know, I like Tiffany for the most part, but to watch Charlotte try to bury her is just like uncomfortable.
I do love that Tiffany wasn't having it.
Yeah, and you can tell like that, because obviously she can't. I was surprised she brought up the divorces, but I'm like, she can't really do that if Charlotte's not on board. However, Charlotte earlier in the day, the things started coming out because she was on Tamron
gotta
Hall
deal
talking
with it,
about.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
thinking, okay, it was out
She
there and they're
unleashed
planning
it,
this.
you know, yeah.
But then I was like, this feels uncomfortable. I was like, this is.
Well, we were talking about it, how uncomfortable it was that Charlotte couldn't handle the crowd.
That
when
was
have you seen Charlotte not
crazy.
handle the crowd?
Yeah, they got her head big
It
time.
was so uncomfortable.
It's that you know how when some comics are like, "Yo, watch this dude. It's his first time,"
Yeah.
and they get excited about it. I have to walk out of the room. I can't watch
that was
other
hard.
people be uncomfortable.
It felt like it was her first promo.
Yeah, but you know what? Did you notice this last night on Raw when Gunther came out to talk and the crowd started doing that booing thing again and Michael Cole shut it down a little bit? He goes, I know you guys, I forget what he said, but something like, I know you guys, don't want to hear it. And I love that because I think he sensed this was going to be that same sort of Charlotte, like how they booed Charlotte. And he stopped it.
He's like, let this man talk.
And the fans responded to that. So I was so surprised at her level that they got in her head that way. And that's when I think it went off the rails.
Yeah, and I think that's when if they were gonna push Charlotte, I think they're like,
Yeah, that was it. I think that promo that
she needs to go away for a while again. But I do love your idea of her and Becky Lynch teaming together.
I'm liking it.
That's a good.
I don't know.
The 2-girl power trip, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it instantly makes them both relevant.
Because they got to do something with Charlotte. Because this
This ain't it.
This ain't
killed her.
it.
This ain't
ain't it. Yeah.
And even when Becky before she left, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
They put the title on her. She was a transition champion.
She had a throwaway match in NXT.
It's like
Because
that,
wasn't she the NXT champion?
like that one did.
But I hate this because I like Charlotte, but like you keep getting these stories like she had conflict with Becky, and that match with them, that just tore at my heart because there was such realness to that, and you can tell. And then there was a point where Becky, they were like hitting each other, and Becky literally had tears, and that broke me.
That's why I think they got to have a redemption story.
That's what I'm saying. So if you bring her back,
as soon as you drop that little seedling, I was like, I'm on board. Yes. Are we on board with LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu?
I hope they put Jacob over.
Yeah,
I hope
he needs a title.
Yeah.
He
and
deserves
again,
a title.
if Jey Uso wins a title, Jacob Fatu wins a title.
Now Solo feels inadequate. Roman's jealous. It adds a whole nother layer to this. Because they're pushing for Jacob and Solo.
Solo, yeah, yeah.
And then where's Toma gonna? And then the other Tonga's getting close to returning.
Oh, is he?
Whether
Okay.
do we want him back? I don't know.
Poor guy.
They got another brother that hadn't even debuted yet. You know what I mean? He's just been on the payroll. So there's a lot of Samoans in
They're
here.
killing it.
And then there's been rumors that they're going to put Rey Fenix in the U.S. title scene once he gets a little more established. So
he had a great debut.
Yeah.
He did.
So,
he did. He really.
I think LA Knight's going to get bumped up to whoever's in the main event scene on SmackDown. And Jacob Fatu's going to make this U.S. title scene very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that match.
Because he's still got unfinished business with Braun. You know, like there's a lot of, and I'm super excited because the whole undertone, like we mentioned earlier, the whole undertone of all this is the whole of the draft after this. You know, new feuds.
Is the draft normally after WrestleMania?
You know, they play loose with it. So I think they're saying it's in May. Sometime,
oh, okay.
So. Or the 1st of June. I'm not sure. You know, they got to have backlash. So they got to have the feuds of the feuds, and then they move on. Mm-hmm. You know. Get one more squeeze of the apple, of the orange. I don't know what I'm talking about. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. One of the matches I am super hyped about. Loving new Naomi.
So happy for
Proceed
Naomi.
with caution, Naomi.
Finally, they found something to do with Naomi.
Exactly.
I love it.
I can't wait for this match.
And she's killing these vignettes. She's killing them.
And again, it's just a
See it
triple.
in the eyes.
And this is the Triple H giving folks things that we didn't realize we wanted. When Jade made her debut, all anyone could talk about was Bianca versus Jade, Bianca versus Jade, and I mean this is Naomi's "We Want Cody" moment.
Yes,
a little bit.
yes.
I want Naomi to win this match.
Huh?
I want Naomi to win this match.
I do too. I'm so happy for her because she's such a great wrestler. And she just didn't seem like they knew what to do with her. So she's killing it.
Yeah.
Go,
Anytime
Naomi.
I see Naomi or Natalya get something, I'm like,
yes.
You deserve it.
So you pulling for Naomi over Jade?
For sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, Naomi over Jade for sure. Because then Jade gets mad at Bianca for not taking care of for not being on her side.
Yeah.
And being like or
where
something.
were you?
And where were you?
Yeah, that's coming.
I needed you. Yeah.
But okay, can we just talk about though? Jade's body is sick. Maybe you guys can't talk about that as guys, but holy moly!
I mean,
Naomi,
the silhouette when she comes out is just unreal.
Naomi, Bianca, and Jade. I'm just sitting there looking at them like y'all were chiseled out of stone.
Seriously,
Rhea too. Like the thirst traps. She broke the internet yesterday. I don't know if y'all know that. Rhea Ripley.
Oh, did she? Rhea's her body. Their bodies are sick. I want to ask this question.
Her?
I'm not looking. I will look later.
It might derail you for the rest of the podcast. It messed me up for a little bit. I love that me and my wife can both share on our oogling of Rhea Ripley. she's that hot.
Yeah. I mean, Rhea Ripley has transcended the sport. I mean, Rhea Ripley is bringing new fans into same way Bianca did.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a couple. Same way Becky Lynch did.
You can speak on this. I want to get your take. Finally, seeing women you can look up to in wrestling.
Mm-hmm. These women are killing it. Like. Every match they're in, they over deliver, and to watch them. What I thought was awesome about this year's Royal Rumble, outside of Nikki Bella and there was somebody else that entered it. They didn't need to have fillers because they're so stacked.
It was the best wrestled women's Rumble we'd ever seen.
Agreed.
That's why I'm glad we get another pay-per-view.
I was so impressed with that, and that's the thing that stood out to me, that they're so deep. Mm-hmm. That they don't. It was Nikki. I can't think of who the other one was, but it was Nikki Bella and somebody else. And they normally it's like Molly Holly, and I was like, okay, you know what I mean?
Kelly,
yeah.
Which I love. She's just not a wrestler. All right.
So you're right. I just so love these women, and I root for all of them. Like and so, and they're just killing it. They're really killing it. I have a question for you. I was thinking about this. So there was something on the that popped up on Instagram where someone had showed the behind. It wasn't behind the scenes, but like leaked footage, I guess, of Jade Cargill like waiting when she attacked Naomi the last time. You saw her kind of crouching down and then waiting for somebody to give her the cue to go on stage. Do you like seeing that?
No.
Yeah, right?
Nah.
What do you think?
And I try to lean just enough to where I can be informative on this show, like the behind the scenes stuff, the breaking news.
Yeah.
That I try to avoid the most of it because it's still real to me. Damn it. You know, like I feel like you're ruining the surprise for yourself. Like when people go, when Raw is on during the day and we know we're gonna watch it at night, and people can't wait to read the spoilers. Like, just watch it.
Yeah.
So I'm back and forth. Where it doesn't. If I accidentally see it, it doesn't ruin it for me.
Yeah.
But I'd rather not see it.
What do you think?
I'd rather not see it.
Yeah, I kind of think I don't. I like it. It's like I know, but I don't want to know.
Well, they've really leaned into the
everything.
kayfabe of it all and kind of breaking down the fourth wall just across everything. You know, it's really.
I mean, I saw an interview today with Triple H where he's like, "Yeah, I just talked to Cena. I was like, we're turning you heel," and he's like, "Let's go." You know, I'm like, we never would have saw that.
We never would have seen that, but we were loving it.
Yeah.
But we're also like, because again, we're Triple H sees it as he put this in a very interesting. He's like, we're not a wrestling show. He's like, we're a show about a wrestling show.
All right,
Philosophy Triple H.
And when he said that, I was like,
okay, Triple H.
okay. Because it changed everything about the way that they're now presenting it and how there's all these different layers. I was like, we're not a show. He's like, we're not a wrestling show. We're a show about a wrestling show. I was like,
all right,
that's interesting.
This is crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm happy for him and that he's killing it. And then when I see people criticizing him, I'm like, I don't get it because I think he's doing a great job.
I got nothing but love for the dude.
Yeah.
I am wearing my Street Profits shirt though.
Oh,
love it.
nice.
In defiance that the War Raiders and New Day get a tag match on WrestleMania and the Street Profits do not.
That's right. That is insane.
That's a great shirt.
Yeah, it is
love
a great shirt.
This is when this was their first merch. I think this is when they first came up from NXT to SmackDown.
I love that.
And they just manifested this War Raiders New Day feud out of nowhere. Meanwhile, the SmackDown tag team division has been the best it's ever been. And the Raw tag team is on Wrestle.
That's crazy. They could have did like a 3-way, a 4-way or something. But from the SmackDown folks. But I don't get it
They're
either.
trying to play it off that the Motor City Machine Gun Street Profits on the SmackDown before WrestleMania is just as exciting.
No.
And it's not. Because they're
How
not
do
on
I feel
WrestleMania.
about the Motor City Machine Gun?
Can't stand them.
I don't like them.
I like their wrestling. I don't totally like them backstage yet, but I think they've got good.
your fists.
They've got good synchronicity.
There you go.
Their chain wrestling's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you got to respect them being in the business.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to meet Chris Sabin. Super nice guy.
Okay.
I got to go to a lot of Armory TNA events when you could actually go in the ring and meet the wrestlers and stuff
cool.
like that. So like I got to meet Billy Gunn.
Oh, nice.
Massive human being.
He seems like he is.
So big.
He
Good
seems
God.
like he would be.
Road Dogg's bigger than you think he was.
Is it really?
Yeah, Road Dogg's a pretty big dude too. But Chris Sabin, super nice guy. Loved him in TNA. Loved those early day TNAs when he was the X Division. And then he kind of stepped in that role of AJ Styles where he was like, I'm a small guy, but I'm main event.
Yeah.
When AJ left and went to Japan. So I love Chris Sabin. I just don't know why. And if I'm being honest with you, it's that damn intro song. I hate everything about their intro.
But you ever notice when they come out, the fans are like, okay. Like, it just, there's no reaction. It's just, okay.
Well, they expected the casual WWE fan to know who they were, and they don't.
Well, it's kind of like me with the Penta thing, and you're going to get to that. I'm like, I don't see it. Like,
That's fair.
I'm like, each week I keep waiting. I'm like, I don't see it. Yeah, that's the only thing I like.
Well, they're rebuilding the cruiserweight division,
International
in a way.
division.
That makes sense.
And it is a way. I see it as a way for them to really incorporate all styles of wrestling. Like, you can't have a wrestling show without the lucha,
I agree.
like the best of the best luchadors.
I didn't think about that, but you're absolutely right. So if they're kind of doing this thing where they're giving them a platform, I think that's fantastic because there are a lot of them.
And it's stylistically, it adds diversity to the. And again, it's a way of bringing. It's the same way like Shinsuke Nakamura brings a very like Japanese kind of style of wrestling, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something that I hope I don't get canceled for. Can I tell
I
you
thought
with
that
all
same
due
thing
respect,
about what I just said. I was like, is he Japanese?
I'm like, please don't cancel
My
me.
hands are clean
I was
of
like,
all
I think
of this.
he is, but I don't know.
And the only person I will accept this from, because I love her so much, is Io Sky. I hate when I have to read subtitles. I just
Love
do.
Io Sky, though.
I hate when I have to read. So I love Shinsuke, but I'm like, okay, now I
Yeah.
gotta really look at the television. I
Yeah.
hate that. But like, I was like, so last night when it happened on Raw with Io, I was just like, but that's my girl. So I'll
Yeah,
read
she
it
could
for
do
her.
it. And it sounds more menacing when she speaks in Japanese.
She's adorable.
Like when she starts speaking in Japanese, I'm like, yeah, kick somebody's ass.
Yeah, I love her. I remember at the last press conference they had, I forget one of the matches, and they were talking to her about the trash can, and she goes, I trust the trash can. It's like, I love this girl.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got to talk about it.
Okay.
It is the main event of night one. Some might say the battle for Paul Heyman's soul.
This is so
Or
funny.
he could take all three of them soul and just skedaddle, you know? It's fun. It's always funny to see as Paul Heyman as the weak character because you know he's going to manipulate and be 10 steps ahead of all
Yeah.
of them when it's said and done. So we get Roman Reigns, Seth freaking Rollins,
Yeah.
and finally main event in WrestleMania, which is still night one, so it doesn't really count. CM Punk. How we feeling about this closing out Saturday night of WrestleMania?
I like it. Well, you know, here's the thing for me. As long as he's not hurting old people and puppies and kids, I want Roman Reigns to win everything all the time, always, right?
That ain't a dog food reference. Is
Yeah,
it?
no. No.
I still can't believe they did that.
That
to
was
him,
the
man.
worst.
Oh God.
I can't get CM Punk to me is corny. Like I
can't stand CM
I
Punk,
don't
so you're
like
amongst
CM
friends.
Punk.
You're
And that
amongst
whole
friends.
best in the world, I'm like, sir, no, you're not. And but the thing that kills me is how over he is. And I respect that. He's starting to grow on me, but I still don't care for him. I feel bad for Seth Rollins in this thing, oddly enough.
And that's why I want him to win.
Yeah, I feel bad for him because this was supposed to be their thing, but there was no way there was going to be a WrestleMania without Roman. So I felt like Seth got screwed a little bit. Do you think Seth win?
Well, we were
Yeah.
talking about it. We think Roman got added because he was supposed to do something with The Rock, and that got messed up with
I
Rock's
agree with
schedule.
you.
So I
That-
think
that
this
makes
was
sense.
always supposed to be Seth CM Punk,
Yeah.
and I think they kind of had to throw a.
And speaking of
Audible.
leaked footage, did you all see they showed something? Not the one of the face-offs they had, I think, on SmackDown. I think the first face-off they all had on SmackDown. Leaked footage showed after the match, like Seth and Roman were jawing at each other, and they were like no cameras, and I was like, so
Is this a Charlotte Becky incident where they used to be friends and they kind of hate each other?
There,
now?
there seemed to be some heat there. So, and I wonder if Seth feels a way about the fact that Roman's been added to this match. Because from everything you read with Seth, like he's a company guy, right? Like he does the right thing for the same thing that we talk about Becky. Becky did the right thing for the company. And I would feel what he feels about CM Punk. Like this dude just gets to walk out, blow everything up, come back, and everybody loves it. Like I would feel that. So I feel for Seth, but I'm never going to pick anybody over Roman. I'm just not.
I thought about this the other day, and in this era we're in, it's kind of like Roman Stone Cold.
Yeah.
You know, he was their guy for forever. They literally milked everything they could out of that storyline with him, you know? Like they did with Stone Cold and
Yeah.
Vince. CM Punk's kind of like The Rock. You know, he's a celebrity on his own.
Yeah.
People are going to follow him no matter what. Seth's Triple H. He's that shitty storyline you've given after shitty storyline, and he said, "Thank you, sir. I'll do it
I'll
again."
have another one.
You
Yeah.
know? So that's kind of what I thought about
Yeah.
and that's why I won't. Eventually, the company saw that and they started putting Triple H over The Rock and Stone Cold, and it's time for Seth Rollins to be the face of whatever brand Cody's not on.
Yeah, I think they take him for granted. I agree with you there.
I think they do. I'm trying to think who needs to win the most,
I think
right?
Seth does.
I mean, because Seth had his whole Monday Night Rollins stint. You know, he was the face of the company when he beat Brock Lesnar, 2019. You know, he was the face of the company from pretty much 2019 until COVID.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Yeah. CM Punk is so over. It doesn't matter if he loses.
Right. It would kind of be funny how he loses.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
doesn't.
I hope Heyman screws him.
But yeah, I mean, Seth needs a little something. to keep us going, whereas the other two I don't think
Yeah.
do as much.
Yeah, it would be nice to see. The thing that I love so much, and my nerves are going to love so much, is there's no title on the line. Because when there's a title on, like, for the last two WrestleManias, when Roman was, like, I was just, like, so invested. I was like, my nerves can't handle this. So I love that there's no title involved. So, like, whoever wins, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's okay. And
You got to think they'll be put in whatever feud with Cena, Cody going after
Yeah.
that, you think, you know.
I'm just curious to see how they, because I feel Roman's at some point going to get that Universal title back, and I wonder how they're going to do that. So I'm
Very
excited
true.
to see how they do that.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
All right, so prediction times. We'll keep this night one and night two.
Okay.
Prediction times. We'll go back to our opener, Jey Uso, Gunther.
Jey Uso.
I wish Gunther. I know Jey Uso.
I think it's gonna be Jey, and as long as it's that opening match and it's a fun match and a feel good story, give him 20 minutes to kick it off. You know. Rey Mysterio, El Grande Americano.
Please.
It's really, do they want to keep the storyline going or not?
I'm going El Grande Americano.
I think he wins too, somehow, some way.
I'm going Rey Mysterio, and I think he's going to unmask him.
That would be great.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I unfortunately see them progressing this.
Yeah, because it's so silly. So you got to unmask him so that it's over.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as this leads to the Lucha Underground, I don't care.
Yeah.
Tiffy time versus Charlotte Flair.
Tiffany Stratton.
I think Tiffany, at one point it was supposed to be Charlotte, but I think she kind of blew that up, so I think it's now Tiffany.
Yeah, I think it's Tiffy time. LA Knight, Jacob Fatu.
I'm going Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Same, Jacob Fatu.
I'm going a twist. I'm going solo cost Jacob Fatu the match.
Oh, nice.
I choose that option too.
Okay.
I
nice.
switched it up. I'm switching it up.
Because I think they want LA Knight to have a feel good WrestleMania moment. Because you actually sold me on this the other day. Because I went Jacob Fatu and you sold me on. You don't think they want LA Knight to get that WrestleMania
That's
pop?
a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun. Because they're gonna be swerves. They have to be swerves. So that'd be a good one.
And there got to be swerves you think
Don't.
you see coming, but don't see coming, but then they still pull the trigger anyway.
Yes.
Jade Cargill, Naomi.
I'm rooting for Naomi, but I think Jade goes
I
over.
unfortunately think the same.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak it into existence. Naomi's winning.
I'm going Naomi.
There you go. Like a sneaky win, like a quick roll up or something after a great match. I
Yeah.
think that'd be fun. Just that. Gotcha. War Raiders, New Day. Don't care. Street Profits.
I agree. I think they find a way to give this New Day these belts, and
That's the only
just
outcome
so
I'm okay
annoying.
with,
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
they're so annoying. They're funny, but they're annoying. But I think they walk away with the titles.
Yeah.
I'm going New Day.
They deserve a heel mania moment.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth freaking Rollins. I'm going Seth Rollins is the new Heyman guy. I'm set it to begin with it. I got to stick with it at this point, which unfortunately I think the internet's talked it to death that even if that was the plan, Triple H is like, well, we can't do that now.
So you think? Do you think Heyman screws?
CM Punk and Roman.
Okay.
I think this is that favor he
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, I think Seth Rollins wins, setting up a feud between just Punk and Roman.
Okay. I had seen rumblings that they would like that for SummerSlam.
Anything involving Roman Reigns, I am always probably not saying the thing I'm supposed to say because I always want Roman.
That's fair.
So
But that's the point of being a fan.
Yeah, I
That's your
always want
guy.
Roman. That's my guy.
your guy.
I'm a Roman girl. So that's it.
Well, that's night one of our WrestleMania Go Home show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out Spandex StandUps. And make sure you tune back in next week when we get to talk about what madness went down. But stay tuned for part 2 of night 2 coming your way next.